in love with Star Wars when I was a kid, but like any other kid, anything your mom does, you're like, oh, seriously, Mom? Like, you're kidding me. I don't know watch that. I put it on, it was too loud. I'm like, why are you running? Like, what is happening? What is that forest? What is going on? And then when I got older, I realized I didn't tell her because, of course, I'm her daughter, and you don't tell your mom she's cool. And I just started realizing what an incredible badass she was. This is not about family, but basically it went from being something I was embarrassed by to something I was so proud of, and still am so proud of. So incredible, and it's so awesome to get to be back with Mark. Like, I've known Mark my whole life, but we never really got to know each other really well until this movie, and it was such a gift that we got to spend time together, and I'm really close with his daughter and his wife, and it's awesome.
She's basically my daughter's age. But it's funny, I think the kids are able to separate their parents from the character they're playing, because they've asked my sons, Nathan and Griffin especially, what was it like having Luke Skywalker as your dad? Luke Skywalker doesn't tell you to clean up your room and everything. So they see me on the screen and they see me in real life, and they like the movie version better than
apparently they used to point to the screen and go, other mommy.
It's so delightful because it was so unexpected. I mean, George told us during the prequels, he says, look, I'm not gonna do 7, 8, 9. I don't want to be doing these things in my 70s. And that didn't really affect me because I was never under the, I never believed that we were going to come back. I thought if they do further films, they'll be so far in the future, it'll be an all new cast. So I just couldn't believe it. I mean, when he said he wanted to meet with us, and Carrie was there, and we knew something was up when he asked my daughter, or told my daughter that, or George's people said, Chelsea, you go to lunch with George's daughter, because we just want Carrie and me and my wife. So we're getting ready to go over, and Mary says, what if he asks us to do another trilogy? And I just laughed at her. I said, he's told us he's not going to do that. He's going to ask us to do like some documentary to re-release it on Blu-ray. Who knows? I mean, he's asked for favors over the years, and we owe him so much. Of course, we're going to do that. But I was pretty good when he said, "Well, I'm giving the company over to Kathy Kennedy, and they want to do a new trilogy." I have a practiced poker face. Inside, I'm like, what? But outward, I'm like this. And within 10 seconds, your mom slapped the table and goes, I'm in! And a few seconds after that, she goes, is there anything in it for Billy? Later, I said, Carrie, poker face. Don't let them know you're anxious to do that. And as usual, she's always 5 steps ahead of me. And she said, Mark, what kind of parts do they have for women over 50 in Hollywood? Wow. See, she just cuts right to the chase. It's much harder on women in this business than it is on men. Because I did, you see these actors, then they have a 28-year-old girlfriend in their 30s, a 28-year-old girlfriend in their 40s. The girlfriend stays the same age as the actor continues. So it's rough. It's a rough business. The fact that if you can really, I love that quote from Groucho Marx. He said, sincerity is the key to success. Once you learn how to fake that, you got it made. And that's kind of cynical, but the fact of the matter is, I wanted to be in entertainment so badly from such an early age. I loved people. I'm the middle of 7 children, so I think a lot of it was just, sort of survival, trying to get attention. I could make my brothers and sisters laugh. I would do imitations of people. Mostly people you don't know, like relatives and so forth. But it was odd. But like I said, if you really love what you do and you love people, I just can't believe at an age when, by all rights, I should be putting around the garden, screaming at kids for throwing the frisbee over the fence. You'll get this thing's mine now. To be asked back, it's just a gift. It's so much fun. I mean, let's face it, if you can't have fun doing a Star Wars film, there's something seriously wrong with you. I mean, I would laugh all the time. I mean, there are elements, obviously. I mean, I thought it was so brilliant of George to include the Force, which is a way to address spirituality that doesn't make everybody uncomfortable, and they can interpret it their own way. So, I mean, it had very serious elements, and Surreal was, just an idol of mine, and he was so funny. I mean, it's amazing that, they cut all of us laughing out of it, because we're very serious in the film, but we just could not stop laughing. I mean, let's face it, we're in the Millennium Falcon cockpit, and it suddenly occurred to me between takes, here I'm sitting with Harrison, one of the most venerated actors of the 20th century, and an 8-foot-tall dog in headphones. What's wrong with this picture? I asked Surreal, like I said, and he said, one time I called him Surreal, he sort of tapped my face and they gave me a look. I said, hey, what's that for? I want to be known by my name. Oh, can't be like that. Seriously. He didn't want me to call him Sir. So he said, can I call you a Big Al? He laughed. He loved the irreverence of American humor. And it took me a while to get comfortable around him because I was so in awe. But, coming back has just been so unexpected. It's like finding, that old pair of trousers you haven't worn in 6 years, find a $20 bill in the pocket, you go, wow, that's more valuable than the $20 bill in my wallet because I didn't know I had it. That's what it's like.
What I've been prepared for, something that everyone has asked me is about the phenomenon that this Rey in the movie might be your daughter, and what's the relationship there. And I know you can't tell us anything, but can you tell us anything?
I love Jamie is so sweet and sincere. A lot of journalists will say things like, was it difficult picking up and wielding a lightsaber again after all those years ago? Hey, wait a minute. You want to pick up the lightsabers? They try and trick you a little bit, but obviously the Force Awakens sort of set up all the ideas that are going to be explored further in Episode 8. I mean, you'll see her hand me that lightsaber. Do I take it? What's your first line? You have like somebody snarking like, excuse me, that came with a hand. Fans are way ahead of you. The trouble is now, because like my son Nathan, he knows more about these films than I do, because I haven't seen them since they were in the movies. And they watch them over and over, and then they read the novels, and they play the games, they read the comic books, and there's so much minutia. Because a lot of times I was totally into it at the time, but once you're finished, you have to flush your memory banks just so you can memorize more lines and other things. So I forget so much. Nathan said, don't tell anyone that you flunked that Star Wars trivia quiz.
Well, my mom used to love Comic-Cons and like these type of events and meeting fans, and I don't think I have a specific one, but it was always amazing seeing people with tattoos of her coming up. The crazy thing that happened one time was they asked her to sign below where they had the tattoo, and then they were going to get that tattoo. And that was always so amazing. But the Star Wars fans are some of the most incredible, warm people on the planet. One of the first things I did after she passed publicly was went to Star Wars Celebration, and I was terrified to do it. And honestly, the fans were incredible. You were there, and I never felt more comfortable or more at home in such a weird situation. And it's just, I don't know, got a lot of great memories with the fans. Yeah.
Do you ever think you would go into acting?
No. Like Mark, my parents really tried to dissuade me from doing this. It was like, please do anything, like be a trash person. I don't care, like, don't do this, it's gonna be a miserable life. And, No, to their dismay, I went to performing arts camp and lied and said I was knitting, and they showed up. I'm in the Music Man. They're like, "What the hell is going on?" What? I'm Marion.
Marion the
Birds. Yeah,
Marion.
yeah. And it was a little weird part for me, not really my vibe. And I'm not. I know you guys don't know me, but I'm not really a librarian type.
But all of them can sing. All of them can sing. Debbie, obviously, Debbie Reynolds, Sandy Fisher, her grandparents. Carrie's a wonderful singer. I just found out her father is a wonderful singer, even though that's not what he does for a living.
You should.
Well, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Billy's also a wonderful singer.
Do you guys do like a lot of Christmas carols? And
Yeah, we'll rock a Christmas Carol, but we're more like a Broadway people.
You know, it's like saying, who's your favorite child? You have to say, I like them all for different reasons. They all have distinct personalities, and they were very different experiences. Star Wars was the last time we were all three together a lot. I remember on Empire, you know, because I would be going to the Dagobah, the swamp planet, and passing Harry and Carrison going the other way. You know, because they were off.
Sorry, that's
Harry and Harrison, I'm sorry. But you know, it was very lonely on Empire. Get the call sheet. I was on the human being on the call sheet. It said, you know, actor Mark Hamill, role Luke Skywalker, and it was all puppets, robots, lizards, and snakes. Frank Oz obviously was, and Wendy and Kathy were doing Yoda, but they went into the trench and they covered them up, and it was. I had a little radio mic in my ear, which I discovered, by the way, if you moved in a certain direction, you could pick up radio signals. So I'd be watching it, it's like, many years have I, and all of a sudden the Rolling Stones. And you know, I laughed the first time, but Irvin Lane, when I explained to him, I said, well, I just think of the Rolling Stones. He said, well, look, because Yoda was such a problem. It was an elaborate puppet, and he's always going up to the workshop to be worked on. In fact, have you ever seen me alone in Empire or Over the Shoulder? Over the Shoulder was the dead version. You know, they just need the back of his head. Because they rushed the mechanical one up for Stewart to work on, sorry, Freeman. But Kershaw said, no matter what you hear, just keep a straight face. And I said, well, how do I know when to come in with my lines? He goes, well, when his mouth stops moving, and then you come in with your line. I probably would have figured that out. It was a challenge, and like I say, I mean, each one had I had a little more with them, with the two of them in Jedi. But like I say, they were all fun, and it's been a long time. I guess when they said they'd done the special edition, they like goosed up the special effects. I said, oh great, send me a screener. And my kids freaked out. They'd never seen them in the theaters before. So Dad, we gotta see it on the big screen. And I thought, yeah, we should. So that was '97. And I went and saw them in the theaters again. And with a full audience. What could be better? Yeah, of Star Wars enthusiasts. It's just amazing. I remember, like, because you know, they took me aside and they said, because there was a dummy line in the script. He doesn't say, you don't know the truth. I am your father line. In the script it said, you don't know the truth. Obi-Wan killed your father. Which is a great twist in and of itself. And Guinness is going to turn out to be the bad guy. So I thought, oh, that's great. Pull me aside. Kershaw did. He says, I know something that George knows, and I'm going to tell you, and that's 3 people that know. So if it leaks, we'll finish you. Oh, I can't stand the pressure. I caught in my sleep. And then he told me what it was, and I was just gobsmacked. Are you kidding me? I mean, is he? I said, well, you have to wait for episodes. But, you know, he said, search your feelings, you know it to be true, and then we decided to play it that way. But, and I loved it too, because by the time Empire came out, there were already spies and people from the press at the pubs waiting for the actors to come in. And that is the false line, within 2 or 3 days after we filmed it, was on the cover of one of the newspapers, a little small article that said, Guinness head baddie in Star Wars 2, because they didn't know the name of the film yet, and baddie is what they call villains in England. But I was so delighted they leaked fake information. But I couldn't even say anything about that because it was a big secret. Listen, I've got so many secrets in my head about episode 8. I just can't stand it. It's got to come out soon. No. I have a lot of fun on Twitter, you know. I call it teasing, but they call it trolling. I can't resist, you know, somebody will tweet a picture, and why are you on the dark side of the poster, you know? So I just have, and I toy with them, and some of them laugh and appreciate it, and some of them call me names I can't repeat. The next company. Why do you make us suffer this way? So I'm just having fun. As a film buff, I would love that to happen.
Yeah, so do I.
You know, because it's George's to do with it as he likes, but I do think the original should be preserved as we saw it in 1977. It's an interesting sort of contractual thing because 20th Century Fox still owns that very first film. And when it went to Disney, all the ones besides that one, I don't know how much longer they have it, but that's sort of like up to the lawyers. You know, it's tough. It's a tough call because it's George's property to do what. It reminds me of those people that used to be model train enthusiasts. They were always building, I'm putting in a new depot and I'm doing more here. And it's like Disneyland will never be finished, said Walt Disney. You'll always be growing. But just from a standpoint, I think it's available. I think it exists on Laserdisc. You know, like I know my son. I shouldn't probably admit this, but he's got it from somewhere. You know, because he's really sort of a fundamentalist in that regard. You know, he doesn't mind the CGI, and he said they changed some of the music and added cuts and so forth. I don't remember any of that stuff. You know, but just from the standpoint of film history, I think it should exist. But they never listen to me. I mean, I have thousands of really terrible ideas that I'm more than willing to share with you. And I hope that maybe 1 in 300 would have a grain of value. They shot so much film on the making of Jedi, this last one. I thought, oh my God, this thing could go on for 40 hours.
6 documentaries.
Everything, you know? I went and spoke at a school, they filmed that. I twisted my ankle, which they covered up. Oh, don't let that get out in the press, you know?
No, it was bad. We would be having like really inappropriate, dirty conversations. We turn around.
Yes! They filmed everything. They filmed me getting my ankle taped up. I said, does this really need to be on camera? Do people really want to see this? But every moment is documented. They could probably make a mini-series out of it if they wanted. And to answer your question, I was thrilled when they did Star Tours. Can you imagine if you told me as a kid, someday you'll be in a movie that'll be turned into a ride at Disneyland? I used to get more excited about these things. And Carrie would just let it roll off her back and Harrison was.
She loved it. She would make me go on Star Tours with her. Mom, I don't want to go on that shit.
No, but I
don't want to do that. She's like, come on.
I come bouncing in and go, hey, you guys, our faces are masks on the back of this cereal box. I can't do Harrison. The look on his face was. Marshall Lucas told us that when they got it down to Luke, Leia, and Han, there were 2 sets, and they never mixed and matched. It was either Harrison and Carrie and me, or 3 other actors. She said George is packing to go to London to start making the film, where you go over and you don't come back to the film stuff. But he still hadn't decided. She took credit for pushing them in our direction. But you look back and you think, oh my gosh, the chemistry was right. You know, Harrison has that sort of laconic, cynic, and it's a smart move to have a cynical character in the movie. It takes the onus off the more cynical people in the audience. He was there to mock the Force, you know, religions, you know, that could have eased the people that thought it was kind of corny, because at the time that movie came out, we were at the end of a really difficult period in our history, with Vietnam and Watergate and all that. The prevailing heroes were a sort of gray area. They were anti-heroes, you know, returning from Vietnam and disillusioned and coming back to unemployment and all that. George had this put in a galaxy far, far away, so he could go back to the sort of clear-cut, you know, the bad guy wears a black hat and the good guy wears a white hat, and just that clear definition. And it was smart to put it in a galaxy far, far away, because you can get away with anything you want, like big dogs flying spaceships.
No bras in space.
Is that right?
No bras in space. Georgie's always
That's based on a true story, because one of the first things we did was running down the Death Star, and all of a sudden we looked at her and we go, "Where's Carrie?" Turned out the wardrobe and pulled her aside. She came back sort of mortified and said, "What happened?" "They took me down."
She used to do a competition, she said, for who wants to take off the gaffer's tape off my tits. Imagine you were clawing at the bit.
Well, that's where it came from, because, you know, I said, "Well, why didn't you just wear a bra?" She said, "George said there's no underwear in space." I said, "Well, I'm breaking that rule right now." People don't realize that in the first film, we were pulling costumes. In other words, now everything's designed for you. But in the first film, Luke's pants were just Levi's bleached out with pockets cut off. You know, so it had Levi and Strauss. What I love too is the way on Halloween kids will come dressed as your character. And some of them look more like you than me. What's that?
I've got 3 bizarre characters people dress as. Now I've got number 3, I've got Connix, and I've got Winter. And it's bizarre. People dress their dogs up like it. It's kind of surreal.
Do animals like costumes?
Animals love costumes. My dog loves her face.
You know, these band horns on them. But I do know my dogs really enjoy the attention. I just don't know if they like the, you know, confinement of the costume.
My dog only wears Star Wars costumes.
Let's invite him back next year. Always plan for your next